So I have this design right here, and this was a menu for a client, and the client wants this in PSD format, a PSD file, a Photoshop file, so that they can edit. Want it to be editable. But I did this in Illustrator, so I had a problem. Like I have to redesign, or basically it was big challenge to change things. So I'm gonna try to convert it to a PSD file now. The normal way of converting a file to a PSD file from Illustrator to PSD, we'll go to properties, so Windows properties, then you open the properties panel, or I'll just use this one here. You can go to Windows on top there, then go on properties. So just open the properties and this will open right here, and then it will open like this. From here you can see that you have got the Illustrator layers, so to say. So on the layers, you want to click on this, which is the overall or the root layer, and then when I turn it off, you can see it all goes white. Turn it back on and everything comes up. So you select this, go right on top there, layers, say, and then you come on layers, release to layers sequence. You click on that, and then it's going to convert your layers like this, the different layers. So from here, now you can go to export, and then you export as a PSD file, a Photoshop file, and then to open in Photoshop with layers. But for this one, I think the design was too complicated with a lot of objects, a lot of elements, and things were just running here and there, and it wasn't really successful to me, even though when I exported the file as a PSD file, even after doing this stage. Come here, you choose PSD, use that board, and then you export, and then a dialog box should appear, and then you just make sure you're on right layers, and then OK, and then it will export the file. Now you can open the file in Photoshop, and then if your file is simple enough, normally it does a job. You find your layers in there. But if your file is like my file here, it really gets complicated, because no matter how much you use this method, it's not working. So here I am in my Illustrator file, and then I'm going to rather export this file as an SVG file. So come here and I'll say export as, instead of saying PSD, I'm going to export it as an SVG file, and then a dialog box will appear, and then you just click leave everything as it is. Okay, so here I have my SVG file, the one I've just exported from Illustrator, and now I'm going to open this file using Inkscape. As you can see, I have Inkscape in my system already installed in my computer. So if you don't have Inkscape, Inkscape is just a vector graphics software, more like Illustrator. It also works with SVGs, and you can if you don't have in your system, go ahead and download Inkscape. Is free, and then you install. So you can come to inkscape.org, and then you can download Inkscape, and then after that open your file using Inkscape. So I've just opened this file from Illustrator with Inkscape. Alright, so with Inkscape, it's going to open like this, and then you're going to see like there are some missing images or missing files, like some missing designs here and there, and then even the colors, like the gradient and everything has changed. So even the font itself, it's changed the font, like it doesn't know what font we use, and the missing files. So this is okay, this is something that we can fix, and in this case we're just going to go through this step without worrying about this. So as long as we've opened with Inkscape, that's it. Don't touch anything, don't change anything, then just go right to file and save this file or export the way it is. So we're not going to worry about things which have changed, because we'll know why in a minute. So just go to file and then I say save. So I haven't done anything, I've just opened it with Inkscape and saved and export it with Inkscape again. So I'm just going here, I'll choose Inkscape SVG, then I'm just going to give it a name. We'll say exporting the file with Inkscape. I'm going to reopen it using Illustrator. So we just made it, open the file, exported the file with Illustrator, open it with Inkscape, and then you export it with Inkscape and then reopen it with Illustrator. Kind of but I'm sure that's pretty straightforward. Then you open with Illustrator. I immediately open the document with Illustrator. It fills in all our files and all our assets, and everything goes back to normal, including the fonts and everything. So no wonder I told you not to change anything in Inkscape. Just leave it as it is and then reopen it with Illustrator, so everything remains intact. So now we can open the properties panel, and then we can see we've got this it's a SVG file, and we've got some layers. Now as you can see, we've got our layers. They are all marked with the blue color right here. So basically this is telling you that this file has got one layer only. So what we're going to do now, we are going to use the same the traditional or current conventional method of activating the layers, and then going to sequence, then use going to the top here, and then you go to release to layers sequence, and then you see it's going to convert your file into layers. So we've got this one right here. So he's showing me this one has got the red color, this one has got the green color. So I can turn off to check which one's got the green color. This is like it doesn't affect anything. Then you come here. So this one, the red color, is the one which has got like the entire file. So what I'm going to do is, now we want to rearrange or clean up things so that we separate the layers that we want, or the objects that we want to be layers. It could be the text, it could be the objects right here. For example, if the client wants to change this photo in Photoshop, so we know I have to make this an object. They want to change the text, so I'm going to create all those things as layers, the things that somebody has to change in PSD or in Photoshop. So if I click, I see the files are grouped, so I'm just going to say ungroup, and then I'm going to put the things I want to be layers into one layer here in Illustrator, and then we'll export to Photoshop later. So I'm going to start ungroup. So I want if I click on these tomatoes right here, the red tomatoes and these mushrooms, I want them to be in one layer. So you can see they've been selected here. If I check on here, they've been selected. So I'm going to come down here, and then it says create new layer. Click on there, and then it's going to give me a new layer. Did it do that? Okay, yeah, layer. So it's layer number 4. So now I want to get this into a layer. So here they've been selected. I'll just drag and drop this to layer number 4 there, and then I'll just rename this. I'll just say tomato. Okay, tomato. I don't know, whichever you use. Then if I next, I want to group these letters as words as on layers as well. So I'm just going to turn off this tomato layer. Okay, you can see they've all been turned off. So I'll click this one. So I'm just going to put this as layers, and then you can do so with your file as well, and then we'll go to the next step. So I've selected right here on the burger section, the burger specials. So in case they want to change the names, becomes the burger, the weekend burgers, or whatever they want, the client can just change in Photoshop. So I've picked this, I've grouped this. I want to create a layer. I've selected, no group, selected, then I want to make a layer. So once selected that, I'm going to create a layer for that. So this is for the burger special, so it says layer number 5 has been created on top there. So I'm just going to pick on one which has been selected, drag and drop on 5. Okay, so you can see even the colors changed. And I'm going to say this one was for burgers. Okay, so I'm going to continue with the next text as well, and basically I'll finish up with all the text and with the images as well if I want, and whatever I want to come out as a layer in Photoshop. So that's what I'm going to do. So if you haven't organized them as layers, I think you have a problem in Photoshop, because it will treat everything as a single layer, and basically you will not have much flexibility with your document. So far I've got about five layers, so I'm going to create more and then we organize this. So I've selected the remaining text, and then I create a new layer, layer number 6, and then I'm going to drag the text to the new layer. So I'm going to drag whatever has been selected. Your document may end up not being as complicated as mine. You might end up not having to doing all this. Okay, so some like mistake there. Okay, so I'm having a time selecting these layers like this, because if you have to select here, then you have to come here, you can select, and then you move them to the new created layer. So I come here, so I have this, and this. So basically a lot of them I need to be some work. So I come here and I'll drag them to the new layer, which is layer number 6 there. Okay, what have we done? Okay, layer number 6. Alright, so I've selected all the text and I'm just going to drag them to the layer 6. If you've got a better method, you can use what you can to put the layers together. So this is what I'm doing, and you put it there. So put layer number 6. Okay, there. Alright, so I've managed to separate all the text into one layer, which is layer number 6. So if I toggle it off, you can see all the text is gone, so meaning I've put all the text in this layer. So I'm going to name this layer as the text. Yeah, I'm going to name it as text layer, or text layer, like that. And then what other layer would I want to change? Probably maybe the images. So this object and this object, or you can make a layer for this object only. So I can come here, new layer, then I have the object I want, I pick it and I drop it in that layer. Okay, now I think I'm almost done with the layers. So this main layer, where it has got everything, I'm just going to name it as the background. Just going to say this is like the background. Since there's nothing to edit here, they will just want to edit the pictures or the text. So this here, layer 7, is for an image, which is this one down here. So layer 7, we just say image 1, and then layer 8, so that image on top, so just say image 2. Okay, so these are my layers, and I don't know if I've left out something. I think I saw something. So you can perfect it. If you left out something, drop it in those layers, and then we'll proceed to the next step. Alright, so now that we've organized our layers, like we have our layers, text layer. So for the burger, I think I changed here for the text layer, for the text in one layer, the image, that image is in a layer, that image is in a layer, the background. These are the things like I wouldn't even want to change. I just start it like that, and yeah, So far we have our layers we want. So now we can now export this as a PDF, as a PSD file, in Photoshop file, and then let's see if we have our layers now in Photoshop and we can edit this. So normally we would go here and they say release to sequence layers, but this has already been done, so we can just go ahead and export as a Photoshop file. So export as, and we'll say not SVG this time, is PSD. Use artboard, so menu Inkscape PSD, so leave it like that and export. A dialog should come. Okay, right layers, preserve, okay, and then let's see what we have, and then opening Photoshop to check the results. So here's our new file, menu inks PSD. So just going to open this file in Photoshop and check. And it opens in Photoshop. Now this is the PSD file of our Illustrator file, the new file. So as you can see, we have our layers here. It's pretty amazing. So from we have our layers right here, and these are the layers we created in Illustrator. This is the text layer, the image layer, image 2 layer, and the background layer. So like it created these layers for us. So now the only thing, this is where you have to be careful. Like when you want to edit the text, each text is a text, alright, but it has rendered them as a single text box. So each letter is a single text box. Hence, for you to change to edit, you have to edit a letter as a text box. So as you can see, S is just a single S. It's not like specials as one word, but it's just S, L, and here it did a collective of spatial, SPE, spatial, except for the L. So you can see that the texts were rendered as single text box. So in the next video, I think I'm going to show you how, but I'm going to show you how to combine these text boxes so that they just have one, they make one complete text box that you can change, you can edit just right here in Photoshop. And that is the what I wanted to show you, and we'll see you in that video, or I'll put the link after this video. You can check out on how to combine these text boxes so that you just have one complete text. But for now, you can edit the images. You can come here, this is the layer for the images, you can edit this. Now it's in Photoshop, this, you can come here. So that's how you do it, and thanks for watching.